Nigeria beyond 2022. What should be your role? What should be my role? How can we make our nation better than what we have today? Right? Nigeria is going to be better than what we have at the moment. Then we need to take urgent measures. There's a need to take urgent measures. Alright? The state of the nation today requires urgent steps to be taken by all and sundry in order to revive the nation, Nigeria. Alright? It's not only those in government, even we followers also have a role to play. Okay? Now, what role do you need to play? Every 4 years, we have an opportunity to change leaders who have not performed or who have performed below expectations, and also to re-elect those who, by constitution, can still go further. Alright? There are those who cannot go beyond 8 years. Okay? Nigeria needs to come out of this state of somebody is elected for 4 years and the government didn't perform. We give them another 4 years. No. We need to stop this practice of if somebody fails a class, you allow the person to repeat. It was Edo State that somebody, a prominent man was said to have said, when people told him that your son didn't perform as the governor of the state, he said, well, if you say he didn't perform these first 4 years, I mean, if somebody don't pass for class, maybe go repeat, and let him repeat. And then they gave him opportunity to rule for another 4 years. No. We need to jettison that kind of mentality. If you don't perform the first 4 years, there's no point giving you or your party a second chance. That's what Americans do. Oh, you say, oh, those are developed economies. Alright? Obama was president of America for 8 years. Whereas when Trump succeeded him, he was president for only 4 years. So we need to get to that point as a people where we don't allow mediocrity to continue. You can't have mediocre leaders and expect to see radical transformation in your nation. Last week I did tell us that we have two categories of leaders in Nigeria. You have transactional leaders and we have transformational leaders. And I buttress what I said with what the former governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, said in a lecture he delivered last week. He said that in Nigeria today, hooligans and political entrepreneurs dominate the political space. He said these people hold political power and they influence what happens with power in their area of influence. Okay? He said political hooligans and political entrepreneurs. If there's anybody who should know, Mr. Babatunde Fashola should know. After all, he was governor of Lagos for 8 years. Alright? So they are transactional leaders. Transactional leaders are not interested in the welfare of the people per se. They are only interested in what comes to them. They are political investors. So that's why they will tell you, I made this governor, I made that one minister, I made this one this, I made, they will be making references to people that they influence to, get to power. They are not interested in, the good of the land. Alright? At best, they are political, scavengers. Just looking for how to grab power for selfish use, not necessarily for the good of the land. And unfortunately, these men are influential. Unfortunately, they are men of means. Alright? Most of the means they have are state funds that they have acquired over the years that they had opportunity in leadership. So they use Nigerian state funds against Nigerian people. And they use the funds to manipulate people. That's what you see today. Political entrepreneurs. And I did also talk about political rapists. Alright? They rape the national treasury. So rape is said to have happened if a woman or a lady does not give consent with regards to intimacy. Same also with national treasury. When you don't have the you don't have the right to take funds that belongs to the state, and you take it either cunningly or whichever way you circumvent the treasury. Right? You are a financial rapist. Unfortunately, that has been the lot of our nation over the years. Okay, so if we truly desire change in this land, there is a need for careful selection and voting of candidates that will deliver for Nigeria, not for us to vote for party. It's not more about party, it's more about the candidate, because there are all manners of characters in all the parties. There are all manners of characters. So, you need to look at the candidate. What's the CV? What is the pedigree of this candidate? The councillor you are going to vote for, what is the councillor's pedigree? The state assembly candidate you want to vote for, what is his or her pedigree? Where is he coming from? What is his or her antecedents? That's what we're talking about. So, look, until we have the right set of people in government, forget about a new Nigeria that really will deliver goodies for Nigerian people. This land is a blessed land. Nigeria has tremendous resources. So we have no business being in debt nationally. Alright? This high debt profile, 46.6 trillion. Okay, that's the profile of debt that the present government has incurred. Alright, according to MBS, Nigeria Bureau of Statistics. So what we're saying is, there's a need to have people who have fresh mentality in government. We cannot continue to have a state assembly or state assemblies and national assembly that is full of redundant and political entrepreneurs who are looking for rehabilitation center. That's the point. I said last week a national newspaper did a report on politicians who have been in National Assembly since 1999, and he called them National Assembly landlords. They have become landlords. Every 4 years, they find their way back to the dome. They do practically nothing. They don't contribute to political discourse. So, how long will you have, people who ought to contribute to national discourse who are not there? There are 3 levels of government. Okay? After all, we're running democracy in Nigeria. The executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Oftentimes, all the blames in the country is usually heaped on the presidency, as if it's only the president that is ruling the nation. During the first 4 years of this present government, we know what happened. There was said to be a National Assembly whose members are APC in the daytime and they are PDP at night. So, many policies that the government were to execute, we were told they were not able to execute because the House were not working in tandem with the executive. And so, people gave them a second. Now, what do you see? Is the experience different? Now you have people who are whose blood and body are of the same party in government, both at the executive and the legislature. Is there a difference? That's what we're saying. So, enough of heaping the blame usually at the presidency. Okay? Remember, when the present president came into power, he submitted budget to the National Assembly. And they altered the budget as they have been doing even till now. So, executive will tender budget for legislature to review and then pass it. Okay, let it go through the normal procedure so that, they can now bring it for presidential assent. But each time the budget is being presented back to the presidency or the executive, the House would have padded the budget with all manners of expenditure. The first time the president said he was not going to sign, they threatened him that they will impeach him. And thereafter, since then, he will just overlook it and then things move on. How long would we have an assembly or, a legislature that of is more interested in outflow than in inflow? For how long? How long will we have a National Assembly that is not interested, and playing its role as is expected? So we need to do careful selection this time around, because it is the people you put in power that will drive the system. Now, remember last week we also talked about the system. The Nigerian system is not conducive for growth as it is today. I'm talking about the political infrastructure. The political infrastructure, our national space is not conducive for growth. There are all manners of lopsidedness, all manners of things that happen. For instance, I asked the question last week, why would a governor, or why should governors have 6 billion security votes? Money that is not accounted for? Why? The wastages at the national level is just too much. Same also the state level too is not different. We need to cut these wastages. So we need to do careful selection of candidates, not party. Remember, I emphasize not party. Number one. Number two, there's a need to, for us to clamor to review the constitution and correct the gaps. All the gaps that have been seen in the constitution, there's a need to correct it. Now, how can that happen if you don't have a functional National Assembly or State House of Assembly? Well, the state cannot alter the constitution, so let's focus on the national now. If you don't have people who are eggheads at the National Assembly, they don't think of the need to adjust the law that governs the land. And that constitution needs to be amended. Alright? There's a need to have a strong presidential candidate, 2023 and beyond. The last 14 years thereabout, we have had presidents that don't have strong will. That's why we're where we are. You need a president that has strong will, good understanding of our national challenges, will to take, decisive decision. For instance, I asked the question, if we are spending 18.8 billion naira daily on subsidy, why can we not, how much will it take to build a refinery? Take a drastic decision. Hey, look, for XYZ period of time, petrol pump price will be maybe 150 or 200 naira, okay, for that period. And then after we have built the refinery, the price should come down. After all, it's our crude. And then, so that's what we're talking about. Why are we shying away from the reality and just patching things up and, 18.8 billion daily subsidy on petroleum products? The Minister of Finance gave these statistics just a few weeks back. We can't continue. Somebody said the definition of madness is for you to continue to do same thing, over and over without, changing your ways. So we need to have a very strong, person occupy the seat of the president. Very, very important. There's a need for Nigeria to have a Nigerian president. Not just that the president is a Nigerian. I'm saying that carefully. A Nigerian president. Not just a president that is a Nigerian. So what do you mean? I mean, president that is detribalized. Alright? Truly for all ethnic nationality and can be seen so. All your body language, all your actions reflect the Nigerian character. One who respects the national character. That's very important. All political appointments must reflect national character. Why do we have 250 ethnic groups in Nigeria? And dominant political offices or appointments are tinted towards one particular ethnic group. And you say, well, I'm for all and not for one. Please. There are no honest people in one particular ethnic group in Nigeria. People think that has only one party, that has more honest people or more people that are free of corruption. So there's a need for us to ensure that we vote business-minded people into our national space. You ask me, I will say one of the criteria that we need to include into the the constitution will be that anyone who is going to be president of Nigeria must necessarily have run a business. You must have run a business, a successful business, or been at the board of a multinational. That's what many nations in the world, that's the direction they are going now. Both Trump and the current president of the US, they were not just politicians. They have hands-on the economy. Not to go and pick, people who are practicing voodoo economics. They'll tell you all is well with Nigeria and every day dollar is rising, the naira is going low. Petrol pump price has also gone up just in the last 48 hours, thereabout. Same also with exchange rates. How long will we continue this? For how long? So you need to have someone who have understanding of economics. Possibly somebody who has run a business. Because the destiny of over 200 million people is at stake. That's what we are saying. So we can't continue to gamble. The next 4 years, if God forbid that we have same as we have now for another 4 years, I don't know what will happen. I don't know. That's what we're saying. So we need to move away from the present arrangement. Very, very important. Alright? Move away from the present arrangement with regards to all the key political office holders, whether it's Senate, whether it's reps, whether it's the presidency. There's a need for that. You can't have members of Senate and reps that are contractors. Okay? What are they doing? They manage constituency projects. So, the function that originally should be done by the local government, you now see senators say, okay, go to your constituency. And then some of them will go and buy wheelbarrow and come and do youth empowerment 6 months, 4 months to election time, and then be giving a wheelbarrow to youths and say you are doing empowerment, or all in the name of constituency project. That's nonsense. Or the ones that come and share laptops and computer. Sometimes I just wonder how we reason. I was with a group of people last week, and I told the people who invited me, I said, all of these things has political undertone. Then the president came, the president of the group, and repeated the same thing that I said. And the people there were looking at me, I said, did I not just tell you? It's because of election, all of these goodies that these people are throwing at you people. It's election. So they would have kept some money aside and say, don't worry. During election, you just give them some crumbs. They give you crumbs. They give you 1,000 naira to vote a particular candidate. And you sell off your future for another 4 years. You see how you shoot yourself in the foot. The 1,000 you collected at the last election, how long did it take you to spend it? You see how we've allowed this cycle to continue. So the local government should be allowed to function properly by the legislators and governors. Governors have, they hijack funds that should go to local government, all in the name of, okay, we are the one funding this, local government. So allocation that should come to the local government first go to the states, and then the states will now determine who gets what. Total aberration. You see why I'm saying that the system needs to be overhauled. So, at the national space, there's a need to create other sources of income for Nigeria so that we don't continue to depend on oil. And how do you do this? Number 6, there's a need to come up with initiatives and policies to engage the youth. Look, it is a well-known fact that 85% of the over 200 million Nigerian population are youth. So do the maths. Multiply 0.85 by 200 million. you see that you have about 150 or 140 million youths. That is an asset for agriculture. That is an asset for ICT. That is an asset for music. That is an asset for football. That is an asset for movies, movie industry. Those are assets for entertainment industry. You move from Lagos to, say, Enugu, and you see huge, forests, both on the left and the right side of the road. Why is the food prices of food items going up? Insecurity. Okay, there are not too many farmers. That's one. Number two, the few that are practicing farmers, they have the challenge of insecurity. Some people can't go to their farms any longer. And the few that are farmers, they pay through their noses to get their goods to town. Okay, so you see the challenge. Agriculture. Imagine that the over 20 million graduates that are produced yearly are encouraged to go into agriculture. We will not have challenges, increasing food prices. We won't have that challenge. Agriculture, we will have more to export. By so doing, we would have diversified the economy. Those who don't want to go into agriculture, they can do ICT, information communication technology. It's a very broad field. Very broad. How about music? The last time I happened to be in Ghana, I went for a business meeting. I met some youths who said, "Oh, wow, you guys are from Nigeria." One particularly told me, you guys rule. And then he began to mention all the names of the artists. Mention all the names. Oh, Shantizo, Two-Face, he just continued and said, "Wow, you have great artists in your country." Music. Nigeria got talent. What are we doing with our talent? Allowing the talent to waste away by shutting down the university system for 7 months. And do you know that there are people who are not lecturers, they are not students, but their daily source of income is dependent on universities being open? I met someone during the week who said, "Look, I don't have money, okay, because my business is down." I said, "Your business is down, what's been called?" They said, "Well, ASU strike." So, nobody to patronize what she does for a living. So you see the side effect of ASU strike. How about football? Do you know the huge number of Nigerian youths that follow European Premier League? Do you know EPL or Champions League? Why can we not develop our stadium in such a way that as people travel all over the world to England to watch EPL, they can also come to Nigeria to watch, to watch our local leagues? Why can we not develop our local leagues in such a way that it will attract foreigners to, invest in our youth? Huh? The stadium is there, rotting away. So we need to create football academy across Nigeria. You see the reason we need to have thinkers in government. You need to think. Create football academies. So that you can create as many Okocha, as many as possible, Canon Wanko. These are great talents, football talents. Anytime Okocha still handles the ball, you see that Oshiwalara, this thing still there in body. That's what we are saying. How about movie industry? How about entertainment? There's a need to create a national talent academy. Look, Benin Republic did something fantastic some years ago. The government of Benin Republic, once upon a time, had an initiative that was tailored towards youth development. You know what they did? They focused on tiling, teaching their youth on tiling and farming and other artisanship. That's why today, most of the tilers, you want to tile your floor, most of the tilers come from Benin Republic. If you are a farmer, when it is time to call in, please call in and confirm to me if it is not true that some farm hands, the good farm hands you have on your farm, are not from Benin Republic. Fantastic youth. You ask them to clear an acre of land. 2 guys, I've seen it before. 2 guys within 24 hours, they cleared acres of land. Fantastic. They are not lazy. They are very enterprising and ready to work. So, for each of the political parties that has a presidential candidate, there's a need for us to look at the antecedents of the candidates. All right. Number one, look at the antecedents of the candidate. What have they done in times past? What good things have they done to deserve another 4 years in our national space? Very, very important. No emotions, please. See where emotion has led us. Emotion and sentiment. Ethnic sentiments and all manners of religious bigotry. See where it has led us. We can't continue that route 2023 and beyond. What is the antecedent of the candidate? He was a former military president, and so when was the last time he went for any course, either on economics or national development? Just say he was a former head of state. Please, let this be the last time we have a former head of state at the affairs of the nation. Please. See where it has led us. So the antecedent of the candidate, very, very important. You have 3 prominent candidates. One, they say, is obedient. And like a prominent pastor was asking today in church, he said, all you people who are obedient, you need to show me your sacrifice, because there's no sacrifice without there's no obedience without sacrifice. Obedience, the Bible says obedience is better than sacrifice. So he was now saying, if you are obedient, then let's see your sacrifice. Or those who are articulated. After 8 years as vice president, what else do you want to offer? Just asking questions. Why should power return to the same ethnic area as the incumbent in a nation where there are more than 250 or 200 ethnic groups? Why? You see how that party should change themselves. I said that last week, I'm repeating it. It's a serious disservice. Alright? It would have been fantastic to have another candidate from a different ethnic group represent PDP than someone from the same ethnic group as the outgoing. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Alright? So the antecedent of the candidate, very, very important. The character of the candidates. As a matter of fact, your antecedent is a pointer of your character. Oh, those who are batified, our local. Okay. What's your antecedent? Why should there be a lot of controversies around your original name and the schools you attended? Why? Why should there be controversies around schools you attended? When you were a former governor, you filled a form and said you attended XYZ school, and then now as presidential candidate, you are saying, well, you didn't attend those schools. Initially, you said all the certificates are lost, and then now you are saying, well, my parents couldn't send me to school. I had to, send myself. Stories are not rhyming. Why? And we entrust another 4 years of the destiny of over 200 million into your care. Your antecedent does not support positively the task at hand. It doesn't support, one entrusting power for another 4 years, let alone talk for another 8 years. But radical transformation of the state is still the state center of excellence. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. But what happened to the first deputy you had? That deputy that was impeached. And what happened to the second deputy that you had? He was also impeached. Does that not show that you are intolerant or something, or There's more to you with regards to that. I'm just asking questions. Huh? Kovorola Bokno was impeached, deputy governor. Same also with Femi Pedro. Those are deputy governors that served in your tenure and they were humiliated, both first time and second time. We have forgotten him. Just asking questions. But you see, he has an eye for good candidate. Yes, this man has his own good sides, no doubt. I'm talking about character now. He has his good sides. And there's nobody that doesn't have both the good and the bad sides. So, rather than power going back to the north, let's just consider power coming back to the west. Okay, I hear you. But you need to understand that there are factors that determine who will be president. I'm going to highlight the 5 very shortly. So it's not automatic. So the antecedent of the candidate, their character, their competence. Is Peter Obi competent? Yeah, I think so. Was former governor, he was a frugal former governor of Anambra State. And during his time, I know Anambra recorded huge positive progress education-wise. So I don't know if there are other things he did while he was in power. How about Asiwaju? Yeah, 8 years he was governor of Lagos State, and subsequently he nominated, wonderful candidates. He has his good sides. If Asiwaju is the president of Nigeria today, I know what he can do. Honestly, he's going to, at least the first 4 years, he will work very hard. He will have candidates, he will put technocrats. That's what he was known to have done in Lagos. He will put technocrats in different areas and try to, revamp the economy. He can do that. But how about his shortcomings? How do you do that? How do you overlook that? That's the point I'm trying to say. Or how about the articulated camp? I have a problem with, number one, you are the candidate of the incumbents. I mean, from the same ethnic group as the incumbent. For me, that is a no-no. Number two, I have a concern that your former boss cannot endorse you. I have a concern with that. The man you worked with for 8 years cannot come out to say, I endorse you. Then he probably knows what we don't know. So, number 4 criteria, the popularity of the candidate. And then number 5, the means to succeed politically. It takes a whole lot for you to succeed politically in Nigeria, especially the presidency. It's capital intensive. Capital intensive. Now, quickly because of time, who are the kingmakers? Okay? 5 of them. These 5 categories of people determine who will be president in Nigeria. Every year, every election time, they determine. So it's not about your sentiment and your emotions. So who are the 5? Wow, time is running very fast. Okay, the 5 quickly. There's a council called the Council of States, which consists of former heads of states. Alright, all the former presidents, former head of state, okay, they are major determinants of who succeeds the incumbent. Council of States. Number 2, the foremost traditional rulers. Whatever direction they go is the direction most of their subjects will go. And they understand the political terrain. Alright? So, if you have the favor as a candidate, presidential candidate of the Council of State, of the traditional rulers, you are almost there. And then, number 3 is the incumbency factor. The incumbency factor. The one who is going to fund the election can also influence the direction of the election. Forget about this new system that INEC is using. Cannot be manipulated. All those are stories. Incumbency factor can determine the direction of the election. Number 4, the state governors. All right? The state governors. That's another major factor. And then finally, the God factor. Many times we don't think that God factor is important. See, it was God factor that brought Jonathan to power. You don't think so? It was God factor that brought President Jonathan to power. Ijo would not have near presidency. I'm talking about being winning election to be president of Nigeria until he was vice and his boss died. So that's the God factor. And for all you care, that last factor is still at work even now. Most of the permutations that are being done, you'll be shocked the direction things will go in 2023. You'll be shocked. Please listen to this information. Gboyega Ilori signing off. Bye for now.